but there's not a lot I can do. Well, I wrote it in the room, as you see.
Can the VG operator see the tap-in comments then?
Absolutely, yes.
Right, here we go.
Yeah, name's being changed now. As you see, we already got Fischer in the right seat as south. The rest will be fixed pretty soon, I'm sure. So Ron Schwartz and Lothar Fischer from Israel against Helnes Helgemo from Monaco. In the other room we had Milton Zimmermann, north-south, against Richard Schwartz and Alan Graves. So, David, our first lamb, pretty good one. Well, you need some roughing, of course, but it is a good 6 hearts, of course. Even 7 is playable.
North had the option of bidding 4 clubs instead, a splinter bid. Some players don't like to do that on single ace because then partner may think it's not a good fit when he has the king, as indeed Fischer does here.
4 spades is Roman key card, kick back, 5 hearts showing 2 key cards with the queen of trumps.
So now, usually when all the key cards are present, South's meant to advise partner of that in case he has extra playing strength, but on this bidding, North has limited his hand by only bidding 4 hearts. So it may be that, oh, 7 no trumps, wow.
No, 7 hearts. Yeah, you cannot count 13 tricks. Now, how is he going to play this? Let's see, how many side tricks does he have? 2 clubs, 2 spades and a diamond, that's 5. So he needs 7 trump tricks, right? Sorry, 8 trump tricks. Alternatively, he can set up the club set.
If trumps are 3-1, which is the most likely split, he can't afford to ruff clubs with the queen and jack. But he's slightly better placed when the club doubleton is on the left, because then if West shows out and doesn't ruff, then he has no need to ruff high in the dummy.
Yes, and that's why he won with the queen of hearts in dummy, not wanting to ruff with more than 1 high heart later.
You see why he could bid 7 hearts, because he was already putting his partner with 9 cards in the red suits, so it wasn't very likely that his partner would have ace to 3 clubs, because that would leave the opponents with 11 spades between them, and one or other would surely have overcalled in spades, because they both had the chance to do so at the 1 level. So he was confident that the ace of clubs would be singleton or doubleton.
So he is setting up his clubs, and he will be successful. 4-2 split is okay, as long as West has 2. It might have been a problem if East had 2.
Was a good idea to cash the ace of clubs before playing a second round of trumps, because he won't be able to draw a third round anyway, in case he has to rough 2 clubs, and the second round of trumps is a convenient entry to his hand.
Our operator for this segment is Maya, very competent one. Hello, good evening to Peter Lund.
Hi, Roland and David. I see you're just in the middle of a grand. I haven't looked further. How is this?
It's a very good grand, Peter. Should be bid at both tables. Tommy had a queen jack to 4 hearts and the singles and ace of clubs.
Yes, I have the play cards on my screen with light gray.
Good. So he will be successful. All he has to hope for is that clubs do not split 5-1.
He hasn't bid his clubs, so East might be unaware that he has to guard that suit. But in any case, for the moment, he can obviously discard a spade. No, not even that isn't obvious, perhaps. When you are uncertain what to throw when you're defending, general rule is to keep length in the side suits you can see in the dummy. It's just as important in practice to match the length of declarer's side suits if you can, but you may not know what he holds if the bidding hasn't revealed it.
7 hearts also reached in the open room, but played by North.
You remember, Peter, we were discussing yesterday about cashing the king in a suit like this. No reason to do it here, and he's not cashing the king, just taking his roughs. Yes, he's got a diamond entry as well, so it'll play fairly easily.
Yeah.
The only time you would want to cash a king is if the opponents were going to get in, and you wouldn't want to get your king roughed then, but you're very much hoping that they don't get in when the contract is 7 hearts.
Why is he cashing the king of spades? Is he going to rough it? I mean, his hand is high. He just needs to get to his hand to draw the last trump. I don't think he played the king of spades. No. Never mind.
Well, just the right sort of board to set the scene for this great final.
Yes, it is indeed a great final. Later, we're getting to see the Norwegian pair Brogland and Lindqvist, the third pair on the Schwartz team. Third pair on the Monaco team is Corsa, Fantoni, Nunes. And it's normal procedure for Monaco to let Helmut Helgemo play with Milton Zimmermann, the first segment. Then Fantunis with Zimmermann Milton in the second, and then the 2 star pairs in the last 2. all world champions at this table. East-West for Norway back in 2007. North-South for Israel in various junior competitions. And North-South also reigning European champions. As you may recall, in Croatia recently, Israel won the gold medal.
And they did that by overtaking Monaco in the very last match. England needed to do well against Monaco to get any sort of medal, and they did end up beating them by about 12 imps. And that gave England the bronze and also allowed Israel to overtake Monaco to get the gold.
And board number 1 is indeed in as a flat board.
May seem strange that the north bid is set in yellow as if it's conventional, and the explanation was that it was forcing for one round, but that wouldn't necessarily need an alert. In North America, a lot of people play if it begins, say, one spade double. If you bid 2 hearts then, that would be non-forcing, and they have to start with a redouble first. Not a method that I like very much, but it does pay off when you've got the right hand for it. Say about 6 to 10 points and a long heart suit, and you don't really want to make a forcing bid in hearts.
There are only 4 direct losers, but a little bit of handling problem which could create second trick for the defense, second down.
Yeah, but I think the fact that we see 10-9 doubles and in clubs, Peter, will allow declarer to get out for 1 down.
Just before this match started, I was biding my time looking at some website that had all the deals with double figure swings from the semi-finals, and I only watched the first session of the semi-finals yesterday, but I think in the second session there were at least 2 boards where seemed to be quite irresponsible bidding, which led to these double figure swings. You can lose a big swing through bad luck, but I mean there was one where someone raised a diamond overcall to the 5 level on a 4-4-3-2 hand. I just couldn't understand. It went 4 off and the opponents couldn't make game anyway, so that's a hand that I'll be inserting in a book I'm working on at the moment on sort of irresponsible wild bidding, that chapter. It's quite amazing how many hands that I do find from absolute world-class players who tend to break the general rules for high-level bidding, most mysteriously, despite them being absolutely supreme players in general.
Okay, David, but let's look at this board. What to play from dummy now to keep it to 1 down? I can't see what you can do.
That's true. I agree with you on second thought, Peter. I think he will go 2 down.
Yes, it's difficult to lead from dummy now. If you lead the best he can do is to lead a club now, but that's not without risk. And now there's a club off for South.
Yes. So they will take that, and the contract will go 2 down. Same contract in the other room.
Well, I suppose north-south were heading for 4 hearts, were they anyway? Contract that might go down. Might it? No, it looks like they're going to lose a club, and if they lose a diamond rough, you can pick up the trumps easily.
So they were headed for a 4 heart, which probably would make.
Anyway, quite reasonable with the East cards to go straight to 4 spades and not ask too many questions about what's going to happen to a heart contract. Get the 4 spade in first and leave the opponents with the guess to make, perhaps. The other rather amazing board I saw on this website was one where Zia's partner protected in the 4th seat on a 9 count, and he then carried the bidding up to 3 no trumps on 11 points, which was only 20 between them, and that was doubled for 4 down. So, you know, we all know these are the very, very best players in the world, but just is quite amazing, really, that you can still find in a whole week's play the odd board or two where they do rather surprising things in the bidding. Against that, they make hardly any mistakes in the card play and very few in the defence, so it mainly seems to be in the bidding that you see some surprising moves.
Second Grand Slam of the day, only fair. We didn't have one on board 2. Four spades is a strong bid. You do not preempt over preempts. So 4 spades is serious. And of course, Hellness looking for a Grand Slam already. Well, there you go. That's all he needed. 4 spades. Part of bidding 4 spades vulnerable. Well, of course you bid 7.
That's something you almost never see again. A grand bid in one bidding round.
Well, I don't think it should have been bid in one bidding round. It doesn't take many seconds to check up on the ace of trumps. Why can't he do that?
You would have liked him to bid 5 no?
Well, he can bid exclusion Blackwood in hearts if he wants to. Surely he's got some way to find out if partner has the ace of trumps. His partner might have had 7 or 8 spades to the queen jack, and I know it's incredibly unlikely, but I mean I remember hands from my youth where people said, "Oh, I was absolutely certain he had the ace of trumps," and they get to some silly slam, and I say, "Well, what's the point of going straight there? Why can't you just bid Blackwood and find out?" He said, "Yes, I know, but I just was just certain. I mean, he bid 4 spades over 3 hearts."
And you have defined 5 hearts as Whitewood?
Well, I just rather thought that Helgamo and Hellness would have a way to ask about the ace of trumps. I may be wrong.
But if you ask for key cards, David, and you get 1, how will you know it's the ace of trumps and not the ace of hearts?
Well, that's the principle behind exclusion Blackwood. When you've got a void, you don't bid 4 no trumps for that very reason. You can ask for key cards excluding the ace of the suit in which you make the exclusion Blackwood bid.
Yeah, but in that case he has to jump to 6 hearts. and then they may bypass 6 spades anyway. Okay, never mind. I would also have bid 7 spades, I must confess. I can't picture a 4 spade bid without ace queen of trumps when I have the king.
Yes, well, if you haven't... I was just going to say, if you haven't got a bid to ask for the ace of trumps, you have to pot 7. You might also have to do it on some situations where you weren't quite so sure whether he had it or not if you didn't have a bid for it.
Okay, Peter, over to you. Maybe our next Grand Slam coming here. It's on diamonds, right, coming in, or an unlikely squeeze.
The first bits are very normal, and 3-no trump for sure is asking partner to start 2 bits. Then you have 4 club, 4 diamond, 4 diamond, 4 clubs not alerted, 4 diamonds alerted is
They're going to disappoint us here. No Grand Slam. What a start to the final. 2 Grand Slams. Small Slam here, most likely. Could have been a Grand Slam.
It's not a good Grand Slam, though, is it?
No, it is against the odds. But I'd be in worse, David. The 10 of diamonds makes it a little better. Well, without the 10 of diamonds, it would be really bad.
Well, I was going to make a facetious remark there about not being surprised you've been in worse if you can't ask for the ace of trumps, but it's only a joke anyway, don't worry.
Back to that asking for ace of trumps. There are very easy ways to ask for the ace of spades on the previous grand. 3 hearts, 4 spades, pass, 5-no, the Josephine convention, asking for top honors in spades. With 2 top honors, you bid 7 spades. But if West was missing one of the 2, ace or queen, then he could show them on the 6th level. The way to use that convention is that over 5-no you bid 7 with 2, you bid the suit below trump if you have either S or king. So 6 heart as answer show partner, I have spade S or spade king, but not the queen.
What does 6 clubs and 6 diamonds mean then?
6 diamond means I have the queen, and 6 clubs means I have jack 5th or 6th. Only if spade or trump you have these 3 options. And if you're worth, then you bid 6 spades.
Yes, you have to have different sets of responses for all the different trump suits. But I mean, you'd expect good pairs to be playing something like that, I agree. Well, you won't find me complaining about this contract after all the excitement on the previous 4 boards.
Really? They really should ask for a redeal, I think. It's not exciting.
I had a bridge guy visiting me who runs a magazine here in England, and while we were chatting over lunch, I think it was when he came to lunch, yes, he was telling me that some clubs in England sort of edit the supposedly random computer deals for their sessions, just to the extent that they chuck out sets which are either too flat or have a particular bias of points in one direction, because otherwise their members will be annoyed by that. But I'd have thought that was illegal, isn't it, to sort of edit hands like that if they're computer dealt?
I don't know. Do you know, Peter, about prepared hands for tournaments?
Well, you have to think that the odds of particular breaks are going to apply, you know, because when you're calculating what the best play is, comparing a finesse with a 3-2 break, you have to know what the odds are. So you can't just have choose exciting deals. And if you have to make it so that all the norths, all the easts, all the souths, all the wests have the same number of points throughout a session, someone who's a professional blackjack card counter could work out exactly how many points his partner had by the time the last board came round.
Well, this is a little dangerous. Let's see. Now, obviously, well, no, it's not. Fischer will cash his clubs and the ace of diamonds, and then they'll get the king of diamonds also. So, so 2 down. To be expected. They're also in the grand slam. Oh, it's scored already. Board 3, 7 spades in the other room.
They were both pretty easy grands to bid, really, weren't they? Not surprising they're flat. Still looks unusual, though, seeing 7 hearts, 4 spades doubled and 7 spades, and all 3 marked as absolutely flat boards.
East also jumped to 7 spades in the other room, David. North bid 5 hearts. 4 hearts, 4 spades. 5 hearts, 7 spades.
Well, no need to worry. They made it.
Doesn't really matter what Fischer does now. The contract will go 2 down. Oh, what's going on here? Wasn't it a hard shift then? What was the problem? That's how it went.
Probably that Hennes had made other discards, because the way he discarded, then whatever the defense played, he would be down to.
Yes.
That much better. Now he has a chance, but only down 1.
Yes. Yeah, most important thing is, of course, to get the contract down, so I think Fischer will catch the ace of diamonds.
For sure he will, but what will he play in the next trick?
Not ace king of diamonds, that we know now, because the contract only went 1 down. So that wasn't the best defense. So obviously that 1-no trump was a mistake. We are back to game contracts and perhaps slam contracts. 6 hearts perhaps. Again, I've been in worse. If I get to 6 hearts, I will make it, I promise you.
South has a sub-minimum hand for most people's reverse bid. He's actually only rebid 2 diamonds, yeah. Not really good enough to bid 2 hearts, but players wouldn't want to bid 2 diamonds ideally with such a strong hand. That's why there are some players, believe it or not, who would open a strong no trump on that hand even with a singleton 9. Certainly with a singleton honor they might.
Yeah, but he has to do something drastic now.
This is a change over the last 30 years that 2 hearts is universally played as forcing now. The problem with it not being forcing was that if you had 13 points and you had to jump to 3 hearts, partner might have to decide whether to raise or not without knowing whether you had 4 or 5 hearts.
Now I'm asked, isn't this a normal reverse for you? I think I would have reversed them, although I don't like the 1 spade response, of course. But then again, I do have 6 losers. I think it's borderline, isn't it? It's a 1.5 hard bid. As I said yesterday, Fischer is pretty conservative in the bidding, so he took the low road here and rebid his diamonds.
I think if you do reverse to 2 hearts, you are doing so in the knowledge that you're 1 point light. Well, so what, you might say, because rebidding 2 diamonds is not pointing a very accurate picture, and often you don't have a perfect bid, so I think I would have reversed to 2 hearts as well, even though I've got to really subtract a bit by having a singleton in partner's spades. It's closest to a perfect bid, as close as you've got, and 2 diamonds is not. If you were playing the weak no trump, then there would be no problem. It would go a diamond, a spade, and now you could rebid 1 no trump, which would show 15 to 17 if you play the weak no trump. And many players are willing to rebid 1 no trump with the singleton in the suit partners already said, because particularly at match points is heavy odds that that's your best contract if partner hasn't got enough to speak again, and you're the only guy that can bid 1 no trump after a diamond or spade. So that's absolutely a sort of must-play method in duplicate pairs as I see it.
I would reverse after some thought, David, because I like my 5-card suit. It's a very strong 5-card suit, Ace, King, Jack to 5, and that will persuade me to reverse to 2 hearts. How about you, Peter? Are you here at all?
Yes, I am, but I try not to speak when you are, so I don't get many chances. I would not reverse on the south hand, but over 2 hearts I would have bid 4 clubs.
But wouldn't that have been a splinter?
No, it's the way to show a strong 4-heart race. I have now told about 9 red cards or 10, and if I have a splinter in clubs, then yes, I should have 2 or 3 spades, and with 2 or 3 spades I would have no problem in making a reverse the first time with a singleton club. So it's just a cubit.
Yep. we could get a swing here, of course.
I'm close to say we should get a swing.
Yeah. Still playing board 4 in the other room. The 6 spade contract played in this room, where you can take 13 tricks if you guess diamonds.
Of course, if South does reverse on the previous hand, North has enough then to carry that to a slam. Ace, Queen to 4 trumps, singleton club, Ace of spades, and 3 to the 10 is not so bad in partner's main suit when it has to be set up.
No slam here, but a game we have. 4 hearts, normal contract.
I was just looking back on the play in board number 2, where 4 spades was close to down 1 only, but Moulton gave the Clare no chance. He let his singleton spade and 3 times spade meant that there were only 8 tricks.
Here, Fischer likes what he sees in dummy, Jack 10 doubleton in diamonds, but he can't run the suit anyway because East has a second stopper.
It's not particularly clear how many points East chose by bidding 1 no trump following a protective double. It depends on how wide range 1 no trump would have been if he'd bid it straight away. Some people play, say, 11 to 15 or 11 to 14, and then they have to double and bid 1 no trump on a lot less than the 18 count that Helnes has. But the fact that Helgamo's gone all the way to game on a 7 count 15, means 17. That
for me, that 1 no trump would show 15-17. In the protected, in the 4th seat, you bid 1 no on 11-14, double and bid no trump on 15-17. On 19 to 21, you bid 2 no, 1 diamond, pass, 2 no is the same as a 2 no trump opening. For sure it's not some sort of 2 suiters.
Yes, well I was just saying that, but they must play it stronger than if you play that method, because obviously Helgamo wouldn't jump to game facing 15-17. The situation is worse when the opening bid is higher, because then partner may have to respond at the 2 level on a very weak hand, and now you don't want to start bidding 2 no trumps on well, you can't bid 2 no trumps on 15-17 when your partner might have a 1 count.
Meanwhile, I looked it up. They play 15-17 no trump over course in 2nd and in 4th. So Helnes has shown a hand stronger than 15-17.
So
yes.
One of the
What was that, Peter?
They're one of the very few pairs who don't play an opening pass 1 no as 11-14. That's the style for, I think, over 90% of the top pairs.
Right, they've decided to let it show full value.
If they play that, it just means that they have to either make off-shape doubles or perhaps sometimes bid a 4-card major, say, rather than bidding one no trump on a weaker hand if they really can't tolerate the double because it's too unbalanced.
Asked why did Helgemo bid one spade and not one heart? If you're 4-4 in the majors opposite a takeout double, it's always often a good idea to, and you have some competitive values, it's often a good idea to bid your spades first, and then later, if you bid heart, you don't necessarily promise 5-4, only 4-4. And you can't do it the other way round, because then you might get too high.
For example, North might have come to life with 2 diamonds over 1 spade, and if that ran back to West, then he would bid 2 hearts, as Roland said.
And the reason you can do that is if you have a 5-card spade, you would expect partner to hold a 3-card spade for his double. So no problems there.
There is a situation where Fischer doesn't like to play a card. He doesn't want to come down to doubles and ace of spades. He doesn't want to throw from his long suit. Bearing king queen of clubs doesn't look appealing either. Thank you, this card of diamonds. But it's difficult, of course. It doesn't know where the 8-7 diamonds are, right? I think the contract will go down if he lets go a diamond. Sorry, David?
I was just going to say that the reason they haven't found the 4-4 heart fit is not to be blamed on the 1 spade response, because if Helgemo was interested in finding a 4-4 heart fit, which indeed he must suspect exists because the partner doesn't have 4 spades, he could have bid 2 diamonds after 1 no trump to give partner the chance to introduce a heart suit. But West's hand is very well suited to playing in the 9-trick game rather than a 10-trick, because he's got no aces and no kings, and those cards don't carry much value in a suit contract. See how useless the minor suit jacks are. But both of those, as you can see, would have some value in a no trump contract.
And Roland, if South has got a diamond now, quite easily make, because then the player will continue with a diamond and set up his 9th trick in diamond. Then he has 4 hearts.
Are you sure?
No, still only 8, but still South will come under a lot of pressure when you play him in diamond. And he has
Now declarer can make it by force. Oops. Wait a second. No, I think that was a mistake. Because now Fischer can do most anything, right? And get it down from here. So Hellner's playing on spades. And that's not successful, hoping that the jack of spades is on.
What were you suggesting that he does?
Diamond.
I would have played another heart. Just to turn the screw on south.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has to make some spade tricks at some stage, doesn't he? Setting up one extra diamond would only give him, what, 6 tricks? No, it would give him 7 tricks. He'd still need some spade tricks.
Oh yes, but what should south discard on the fourth heart?
Well, we can... Oh, I see, he opened the bidding, yeah, so he's likely to have all the high cards, yeah. No, we can see he'll be in trouble because he's got King, Queen of clubs as well, yeah.
Still a tough defense, because Fischer must not touch diamonds now. Spade will work, King of clubs will work, as it happens. This is good enough. And that's Hellner's chance, of course, and now a diamond from north, and the contract is down, but he has to play a diamond.
Well, I'm not sure that it was wrong to play the King of Spades anyway, because you've got quite a bit of work to do to set up an extra diamond trick, and the defenders might be able to do something useful in clubs then.
Oh, now the contract can make again. Well, Clara simply has 9 tricks when spades break. What's a funny roller coaster hand, this? And North-South won't be happy.
Neither will Helmets, because now he realized that he had played the contract down and it could have been made by force.
Well, he won't care, Peter. When you write 600 in your plus column, I don't think you care too much.
I can tell you, Thor Helmets will care, because he is a very accurate declare play, and he will bear in mind when he, I will not say misplay, but didn't find the best play in the contract.
I can imagine that we have a discussion in Hebrew at the moment.
And I must admit that South defense almost proved that he wants diamond back. If he don't have the 9 of diamond, then the Clare for sure would have played on diamonds.
So, they are on a break, a mini break. I think that's a post-mortem here. East-West would never say a word to each other if things went wrong for them. That's how they are.
We were discussing, I think, a day or two ago, what you lead from 5 cards to the King-Queen, and came to the conclusion that you wouldn't typically lead the King unless you had something like the 9 with it. If you had King-Queen and 3 little spot cards, you would tend to lead low, which may give declarer a guess if there's Jack-9-1 in the dummy and he has the ace. So, regardless of anything else, it might have seemed clear to North that South was likely to have something like the 9 with the King-Queen.
Well, they may get to slam here. 6 heart is a possibility. And it takes a club lead to defeat it, right? Yes.
Shows the sort of hand that some people will open a weak 2 on when they think that with that hand they'll bid 3 instead, but it's partly because West has got no defence, very little defence to a high contract in, say, spades or diamonds, that he wants to make the preempt 1 level higher than normal. When the great Terence Rees described weak 2 bids when they were in their infancy, he said they should always contain a glint of steel. What he meant by that is that it shouldn't just be a pile of rubbish, but should have some sort of hint of defence, like maybe an ace or a king-jack in a side suit. I suppose the objective was that knowing that would allow partner to judge more clearly whether he should go for a high-level sacrifice in partner's long suit. In normal bidding, 4 clubs is a Q-bid agreeing hearts, because you haven't got much space when you happen to hold a big hand and some sort of support for partner. So it's much more likely that you're going to have a strong hand and want to investigate a heart slam than you want to fight partner's supposed 7-card suit because you happen to have 8 clubs.
So first 4 imps on the scoreboard now. Board 4. I think we are back now.
Yes, we are. Welcome to Jumbo Jumbo Land.
Yeah, four clubs was doubled. We could see that on video, but never mind. The contract is four hearts. And once four clubs was doubled, they did well not to bid slam. That would have been down. Now, that slam swing you expected, Peter, will not occur, because they stopped in four hearts at the other table also, when Zimmerman bid two diamonds, or one diamond, one heart, two diamonds.
Yeah, it was a diamond, a spade, two diamonds, two hearts, the same start as here, and then the opener bid only three hearts, so they must play that as forcing, which is rather strange.
Yeah, and it's in as a flat board now.
But someone in the tap-in commentary described three hearts as a mild slam try, so there must be something we don't know about in the one spade and two heart bids. Strange as that seems.
If you don't like to reverse on a 16 count, it would be better to play Gat Silly. Two clubs by self, either natural or any 16 plus hand. Alright, history now.
I might say that a reverse at the one level is forcing for one round, and after a one level response rather is forcing for one round, and facing a two level response, well obviously then it would be game forcing. But it's because your reverse is forcing that you don't like to bid it on 16 points, because if your partner's got 6 points, particularly as it's if it's a misfitting hand, then you're putting the bidding up pretty high by reversing. That's why they decided not to reverse at both tables.
Well, before we crashed, I was going to say that the first four imps we had on board 5. When the Israeli pair actually misdefended here and only got one no trump, one down, but the teammates played the hand in two hearts and made it.
The bidding on this deal bears some similarities to the one we saw where West had responded in spades when 4-4 in the majors, because it may seem that they've missed a 5-3 heart fit. Well, of course they've got the mechanism for West to look for a 5-3 heart fit. For example, many players would say that he could bid two diamonds artificial, or even two clubs might be artificial despite the fact he's opened a club. Check back, in other words. So if he wanted to look for 3-card heart support, then he could have done so. So on both these hands he's chosen to play in 3 no trumps anyway, knowing that if there is a 5-3 heart fit, that will be a good supply of tricks in 3 no trumps.
So Fischer gave this some thought. What should I lead against 3 no? So would have to be a diamond or a spade. Spade would have been better, definitely, but it wouldn't have been enough when hearts come in.
One of the reasons he may not have led a spade is that on many hands North would have overcalled one spade if he had 5 reasonable cards there.
The free no is of course a little awkward on a spade lead. The declarer will have to take 9 tricks before he lets the opponents in. In other words, he needs 5 heart tricks, and to get that, he'll need to overtake the second diamond. Then he has 5 hearts, 2 diamonds, and 2 black aces. So that would have been interesting.
How do you play 3-0? Do you continue with Queen of Hearts in trick 2? Or taking out both your diamonds? Taking out both your diamonds and then play the Queen of Hearts?
Also possible, yes. And there was some debate after board 7, as we just saw before we crashed. The operator told us that South was not happy that his partner didn't play a diamond when he was in with the jack of spades.
How young is the north-south pair, Roland? You've seen photos of them?
Oh, I know them from real life. They're good friends of mine. They are, let's see, juniors go 27 or 28, yes.
Right. My next question is,
27.
Did you teach them all that they know?
Yes, but I'm too modest to say that myself.
So important, isn't it, to have a solid foundation in your bridge early learning, and then from there you can just, the sky is the limit. You can become European champions, junior world champions. It's a very good advertisement for your classes.
Yes, indeed. And if only it had been me, it would be wonderful. It isn't. I have to give credit to David Bierman. He is really the man behind youth bridge in Israel, and has been for decades.
He was a very, very famous player, wasn't he? Because when I was learning the game, I read bridge magazines avidly, and I often saw that name in the tournament reports.
Mm-hmm. He played for Israel Open team for many, many years.
Yes, and David still plays. David still plays for the Israeli senior team.
With his wife, actually, Daniela.
And their son is among very best junior players in Israel. I think he's still a junior, isn't he, Roland?
No. He also passed that age. Only Dror Padon is still a junior from that successful junior team.
So he unblocked the diamonds, and then rather than playing the Queen of Hearts, played the Ace and then the Queen.
Now, bridge is being taught in Israeli schools. The estimate is that 1,000 kids learn bridge in schools. That's of course great for the game.
Yes, I still remember. I think it's 15 years ago when I played in the Tel Aviv Bridge Festival. At the same time, they have just ended their youth tournaments. And there have been 1,000 young players taking part in the junior teams tournaments divided in several age groups.
Do they teach bridge during the school day or in after-school clubs?
Both, actually. Some schools allow bridge as a subject, as any other subject. Some don't, and then they have it after school.
Do you remember that, Roland? I think we were there together when they have the prize giving for all the junior tournaments.
Yeah. But wasn't that longer than 15 years ago? I'm not sure. I think so, Peter. It was around 1990 or some such.
No, it
North
was
is
the
now
case where I played mixed tournament with Dana Tal, and she was
right.
12 to 14 years old that time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yes, it's about 15 years ago. You're right. Okay, David.
I was going to say that North had an interesting bid when one diamond ran round to him, because although he would like to find a fit in a major, if he doubled and he was unlucky and partner happened to respond in clubs, which that might have been tricky. Say if you move the 6 of spades down to be a diamond, might possibly respond in clubs, although you've got to always be careful as a responder when you're bidding the most expensive suit, and then they would be in a 4-1 fit. So he's chosen to rebid 1 no trump instead, which seems pretty sensible to me. If partner's got enough to bid on, then he can always bid Stayman and look for a fit that way in the majors.
Richard Schwartz and Alan Graves having a very good card in the other room, matching all the results in this room, also matching the 600 on board 7. The 3-no contract North-South could have defeated here.
Very considerate. I'm sure we all appreciate it from the great dealer after putting our hearts at risk with all those Grand Slams to allow us to recover with at least 1 or 2 1 no trump contracts.
Yes, but the defense almost gave it to him. The 3-no. King of diamonds led to the S. Now the Clare played a small heart to dummy and spade to king and S. And now South just continued diamond, diamond, diamond. First of all, he set up the 8 of diamond. But what's more critical, now the Clare have had a free finesse in spade.
Yes, because South had cashed the other high diamond. That's right. So Declarer just taking his 7 tops here. Could possibly have made an overcheck.
You remember we were discussing bidding in the protected seat and saying that you often bid a king light, and we've seen some players bidding more than that light. So if North had doubled, then do you reckon South should only bid 1 spade or still bid 2 spades on that 10 count? What do you think?
I would bid 1 spade.
Yes,
After
I
balancing double.
take.
Yeah. I have to cater for partner being light for his balancing double, David. So 1 spade is enough. So basically,
Yes.
I only have 7, 8 points.
That's right, but I've noticed over the years that this rule of taking off a king is not foolproof. The fault of it is that you're going to bid 1 spade on hands with a range of about 3 to 10 points, which is a very wide range. And I was once watching 2 Icelandic players playing in London when they were current world champions. And they stopped in part score, having taken off a king, when they had something like 16 points opposite 10, an absolutely cold spade game. And the dummy went out to the toilet and came back and said, "How many tricks do you make?" And his partner told him we had 26 points and we missed a cold 4 spades, because the guy with 10 had only responded 1 spade. So it's not foolproof because the ranges are just too big.
No, here the whole blame is the 16-point hand. When he double and promising 9-10, he's forced to bid again on 16.
Well, that's just as likely to take you too high when the responder only has 5 than it is if you bid 2 spades in the first place. I would still bid 2 spades on the 10 count, because I don't mind playing at the 2 level in what may very well be a 4-4 fit anyway.
But don't you mind playing in a 4-3 fit with a combined 18 or 19?
Well, the point I'm making is that if you widen one range, then you're going to lose out always in accuracy somewhere or other. You have to choose where you want to lose out. If you're willing to play 0 to 10 as the range for a 1 spade response, then you have to try and manage that somehow.
Well, I agree with you. It is very, very difficult balancing. It's a grey area, really, and we don't have many books on balancing. We have one very good book. That's Mike Lawrence's The Complete Book on Balancing. Did you read that, David?
Strangely, it just dropped through my letterbox along with another book because it's just been republished. And I've got it by my bed at this very moment, intending to read it, because he is an absolutely world-class writer, as well as being a top theorist and top player, and I'm sure it's going to be a very worthwhile book to read.
Well, not sure what 3-no trumps was. It has been alerted.
Looks like a natural bid.
Yeah, but if it is, why the alert?
Good point. Don't
Do you
suppose
think
he was
that the south hand is good enough?
Is good enough for a splinter bid? Yes, I do. Because most people play that a splinter bid only shows that you're worth going to 3 spades, and the splinter bid tells him why.
Yes, but then look at the explanation. It was a game force splinter.
Yeah, that I don't like. I played as so-called mini splinter, not necessarily game forcing, and Peter plays it like that as well.
Well, I think that's the standard way to play it you're describing.
Yes, but I just look at the explanation of the 3-heart alert. It says short heart game forcing. And in that case, I would not have bid 3 hearts in south.
Oh, that I agree with you. With 4-4-4, 1 and 5 losers, I agree. Then it's not worth it. Then it's only worth 3 spades if 3 hearts is game forcing. You see, David?
Well, not.
We're back to the game contracts, and we got another one here. Sorry.
Well, I still find that auction a bit odd, because if 3 hearts is game forcing to 4 spades, then you don't often stop off in 3 no trumps, do you?
No,
I mean,
maybe they had a misunderstanding.
You might expect 3 no trumps to be used in the serious, non-serious way to give you 2 different ways of cue bidding.
Yes. We need a couple of undos here. West passed, and North opened one now.
Yes, but as long as 3 hearts is game forcing, if south liked a cue bidding sequence, then he could just bid 3 spades, and that would start the cue bidding. So his 3-no tells partner, I have a lot of wasted values in heart.
Yes. Now this is a splinter, promising at least 6 spades, club shortage. And Ron Schwartz will hate that. He has a spade fit, yes. Partner singleton club isn't really what he likes. But if they have enough key cards, then there could be a slam on still.
Well, he's
They
got
find
18
out
points, hasn't he?
Yeah, indeed.
18 points and the queen of trumps as well, and that's a pretty good hand.
Yeah. But the 5 level is safe as it happens. They realize that they are off 2 key cards. If North bids again, and then they'll stop in 5 and take 11 tricks.
I think king queen jack to 4 is not so bad, because it will provide some discards unless the other side can get at their red suit tricks pretty quickly. And he has got 18 points after all. That's quite a lot.
Yes, he downgraded because 1 no trump is 15-17, but he decided to downgrade because of the 4-3-3 shape and no intermediates.
Excellent. Well, I'm very pleased to see it, because we see about 10 players upgrading for every one who downgrades. And 4-3-3 is indeed one of the very best causes for downgrading.
Yes, we don't see that often. That's what you said yesterday, but we saw it here.
The reason, of course, that 4 clubs showed a shortage was that 3 clubs would have been natural and forcing. So on any hand with 4 or 5 clubs, he would start with a natural bid in clubs at the minimum level. And that's true in many auctions, that when a bid at the 3 level would be natural and unlimited, you're free to bid at the 4 level instead as a splinter bid to show a fit for partner's suit if he's rebid 1, or his second bid suit if he's bid 2.
Yes. On a very bad day, you go down in 5 spades. If a heart is led and West has the ace of hearts and East the ace of clubs, then you're down in 5, losing 2 hearts and a club.
A lot of people, particularly people who haven't been playing the game very long, misunderstand the whole point about Blackwood. Sometimes they find themselves with a little bit to spare when they've already got up to the game level, and they say, I think I'm worth one try, I'll bid 4 no trumps. Of course, 4 no trumps is not a slam try at all. What 4 no trumps means is I've discovered we've got the playing strength for 12 tricks, and at the last moment I'm just checking we haven't got 2 aces or 2 key cards missing, because bidding 4 no trumps doesn't help you at all to know if you've got the extra playing strength or particular suits covered by controls. So if anyone says that 4 no trumps is a slam try, then you can just nod politely and think, goodness me, what a load of rubbish.
So what you're really saying is that 4 no is not a slam bid, it's an anti-slam bid.
Very good, yes. A last minute check that you don't have 2 key cards missing.
A major swing coming to Monaco on board 9, where Milton, or Zimmerman rather, made a psychic bid and kept East-West out of their 3 no trump contract. So North-South playing in 3 clubs there instead. They're non-vulnerable, so it doesn't really matter how much they go down in 3 clubs. -5 it appears, I'm told, but it still was 8 imps.
So I didn't hear what you said about North's opening bid, Roland.
Well, I'm just told that Zimmerman's sight, and I don't know how.
No, on this board. I'm talking about this board.
This board, 2 diamonds, was a multi. It's shown
right.
6 cards.
So it wasn't the other one that really puts shivers up our spine, beginning with F. Right. If it's the multi, then when you've got a hand that doesn't really look like a classic week 2, people talk about how many flaws it has in it, F-L-A-W-S. And really that North hand has got 2 flaws, because it's got a 4-card major, 4 cards in the other major, and people might not like to open the equivalent of a week 2 hearts in case they missed a spade fit. It's also got a flaw really of having 2 aces, which is not very typical for a week 2 bid at all. 6-4-2-1, pretty powerful shape, so a lot of people would not like to open a week 2 on that, and some people would be quite happy to open 1 heart.
Please wait, Peter. Did you finish, David?
More or less, yeah.
Okay, I totally disagree with you. It's a flaw that there are 4-card spade. For sure that's a flaw. But telling people out in the world that they shouldn't open with a week 2 bid if they have 2 S's, that's, I absolutely don't understand. If you have a 2 heart or 2 spade bid, why should it bother you if you have an S in a minor suit? I can't see the problem there. It's so old-fashioned. I know that was teach people in the 50s and 60s, but now it's just ununderstandable for me that anyone serious would say that 2 S's does that you don't open a 2 heart bid.
Right. Well, my point has got nothing whatsoever to do with the 50s and 60s, and probably wouldn't have applied then. The point is that most people, at any rate in England, open week 2s on very bad hands. And if you open it on a hand as strong as that one with 2 aces and a singleton, you're just going to miss a whole bundle of games, because it's too strong, that's why. So that's why people now would be afraid of opening, and they'd be more inclined to open one heart on that hand, having such a strong hand as that. I mean, you could easily miss a game by opening with a weak 2 on that, with a side 4-card suit to the ace. It's just absolutely enormous. Maybe not in North America, but I mean, in England people would laugh at you if you opened that 2 hearts.
And that only tells about the style in England, not in the style out in the real world.
Oh, come on, you two.
What, you don't think England's in the real world? That's a bit rude.
Right, let's get back to Zimmermann's psychic bit. The partner opened 2 spades to show spades on the minor, and then Zimmermann bid 3 clubs, pass or correct, on Doubleton Jack in clubs, and it went all pass. East-West never got in. 9 imps scored now to Monaco.
Looks like West had a 3-heart there, didn't he? Because the pass or correct means he's not interested in game facing the 6 to 10 hand. I think a lot of people would have risked 3 hearts on that rather than risk 3 of a minor being passed out.
Yep, possible. Now, meanwhile, Helnes Helgemore found a nice spot in 5 clubs. Not so easy to bid 5 clubs. It's easier to make it. He will guess diamonds. I'm positive that he will guess diamonds, and he's on his way now, as we see.
By the way, Roland, Graham Osborne agrees that it's an obvious 1-heart opening. Of course, I must admit he suffers from the flaw of not living in the real world the same as I do.
Yeah, but he lives in Surrey, David, and that is part of the real world.
What about Hampshire? Is that okay?
It has been okay for England today, hasn't it? You did watch the cricket, I'm sure.
Yeah, I watched the cricket, and then I'm recording all the Commonwealth games. There's some good stuff on tonight. But I've no idea who plays for Hampshire out of the England team. Who was it? Balance?
What? Scoring runs, you mean?
I don't know. You said someone from Hampshire had done well in the cricket. Who was that?
No. It's just that it's the venue is Hampshire. It's
oh
called
yeah, they look lovely.
GS Bowl, is that what the name of the venue? Is it GS Bowl, something like that? I think it is.
GS, is it? Yeah, so it looked really beautiful. It's a beautiful ground, yeah. Very large one as well, isn't it? Big expanse of grass, the playing area.
Right, we'd better concentrate on the bridge. This looks pretty normal. I like the race to 2 spades. I think it's obvious even. Much better than a 2-club rebid.
Yes, even I, who don't like 3-card races, would be 2 spade on that hand. That's for me, very normal bid.
We've discussed this many times, but if West had another king in his hand, say, and was heading for game, or if he had enough even just for a game try, then he's got the space to find out if partner has 4-card support or not.
But it's not so easy to play. I expect he will continue with a club to off with 8 or 10, probably the 8 of spades, over off with a jack and another spade.
Yes, it looks like that will ensure 8 tricks, because now the 10 of clubs has been set up as his 8th trick. There we go. South is welcome to rough if he wants to. Then Declarer will take the 7 of spades and the ace of hearts.
Suppose he would have come to 8 if had he played a diamond instead. Scored 1 diamond rough.
On board 10, North-South found the spade pit in the other room. They are on 2 spades and may gain an imp or 2. So this was just another way of coming to 8 tricks. Wow, look. Now the 5 level is of course the limit for East-West when they have 2 spade losers.
Here East-West are close to 6 diamonds, but West has the wrong black values. 9 high card point in clubs.
It's not a good hand for Blackwood, obviously. It's a hand where you need to know what suits are controlled by high cards, so the idea will be to agree diamonds and then start q-bidding. And if you play the method of q-bidding where you q-bid either on an ace or a king, either on a first or second round control, when a player bypasses that suit, bypassing spades in this instance, his partner will know that the ace and king are cashable by the defenders.
Now, how do you like when partner opens one diamond showing 4 or more diamonds and you have the East cards? You'll be thinking slam, obviously. Maybe a grand slam.
Well, East might have bid 5 clubs to make it clear that he didn't have the spades controlled. Trouble is, his partner might be nervous of jumping to 6 just because he's got the king of spades when he's got jack-high diamonds. 4 clubs took away such a lot of room, didn't it?
Oh, something went wrong here for East. If East really bid 6 diamonds, now 4 clubs was intended as a void showing, so when he bids 4 no trumps next to ask for key cards, then obviously he's not interested in the ace of clubs. And I think, well, West showed none outside clubs, so Helena's gambling on the king of spades with partner. I see.
Exactly, so it's not well bid. I don't think he should have showed the void at all. He should have tried to agree diamonds and see if partner can cube it in hearts or spades.
Well bid. It'll make. 13.
Well, North can't believe that they're missing the ace-king of spades, seeing as they're international champions on several occasions. He can't believe they would bid it so badly.
I must admit, on the West hand, when partner shows void in the suit, where I have 90% of my high card, I would just have bid 4 diamonds. And when partner continue with 4 heart 2, then I would bid 5 diamonds, and now East would know, missing ace king of spades. I think it was very poor bidding by East West.
Yeah, it was. I agree. But you can't argue with the success they had here. Taking all.
You can argue with it, because usually a splinter bid is when you're describing your hand, so partner can make the final decision, and East had an enormously powerful hand, much more powerful than is normal for a splinter bid, so he should have taken control and arranged the bidding. He should have become captain of the hand and just trying to find out if partner could control the spade suit. That was the key thing, which he came nowhere close to doing.
No, because he got 4 hearts from partner. I think he took control when he bid 4 clubs, David.
Well,
showing a void and diamond control, and diamond support.
What's wrong with bidding 5 clubs, denying a spade control, instead of bidding 4 no trumps? What use was 4 no trumps when he had ace king queen of diamonds? It wasn't a good bid if it was just asking for controls outside clubs, because he wouldn't tell him if the king of spades was there.
Right. No matter what, it's been most interesting set, which is coming to an end in this room in a few minutes. So time for me to thank Maya, our excellent operator in Las Vegas. Thanks David, Peter, of course Jay and Joey doing the text commentary. Thanks to ACBL and Jan Martel, and of course to all our listeners from all parts of the world. Thank you.
Right, well, this will be the last session that I'll be commentating on, so I'd just like to say how much I've enjoyed being able to watch this fabulous Spngold tournament with so many, not only top American players, but also so many stars from around the world. And the reason I've been able to is because, once again, BBO has put on a really splendid show for us that we don't have to pay a penny, a cent, or what for. We get it completely free, and I enjoy watching as much as any of you out there, so I'd like to thank BBO once again. On this occasion we've also had a pretty fine mix of deals. I think I was a bit unlucky compared with average on some of the sessions I watched, but I certainly can't complain this time. They've been very interesting.
All right, we will have voice somehow for the next set as well. Peter and I will be here among us. Thank you and goodbye for now.
They are on board 11. Female 4. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you guys. See you later. I am not on board. No. I can take my partner's car. Okay. Is that my partner's? No, I don't understand. Again? Yeah, okay. Nej, han gick och tänkte på spelen där. Vi har alla ut.
I think so because